Running through our homes, behind the drywall, under the floors, there's this entire hidden network of pipes. And let's be honest, most of us never give it a second thought. But it's so much more than just plumbing. It's a system with a story. In this explainer, we're going to learn how to actually listen to what that story is and what our pipes are desperately trying to tell us. So, let's just dive right in. Every weird gurgle, every slow drain, every tiny drip, it's a clue. It is not just random house noise. It's a language. So the big question is, what secrets are hiding right there inside your own walls? Let's find out. Okay, think about how many of these sound familiar. That gurgling toilet, the stinky drains, that water bill that suddenly spikes out of nowhere. We tend to just brush these off, right? Just little annoyances. But they're not. Every single one is a message, a warning sign from your home that something bigger, something you can't see, might be going wrong. But here's something you might not have considered. These problems don't just happen in a vacuum. The pipes inside your home are in a constant silent battle with the world outside. You see, every single city has its own plumbing signature, its own set of challenges that are shaped by its history, the local climate, and even the very chemistry of the water. To really wrap our heads around this, let's zoom in and look at one specific place, Frederick, Maryland. We're going to use it as a case study to see how these unique, local conditions create a very specific set of plumbing battlegrounds for the folks who live there. What's so interesting about Frederick is this dual challenge it has. On one side, you've got these beautiful historic homes with pipes that are literally corroding from the inside out. But then on the other side, you have brand new construction with its own set of problems. Things like rush jobs leading to leaks or builder-grade materials that just don't last. It's a huge reminder that new definitely doesn't mean problem-free. So, really, it doesn't matter if your house was built in 1890 or just last year. The local environment is putting it through a constant stress test, 24/7. It's not just about how old the pipes are. It's the climate, it's the water, it's the ground itself. All of it is working against your home's hidden infrastructure. All right, so this brings us to the main event. In this constant battle, there are three main villains that homeowners in places like Frederick are fighting, and a lot of the time, they don't even know it. Okay, our first villain is basically a silent assassin, the freeze-thaw cycle. It's just simple physics, really. When water freezes in a pipe, it expands with this incredible, immense force. Now, in a place like Frederick, where the winter temps are up and down, this cycle happens again and again. All that repeated stress just weakens and weakens the pipes until one day, snap, they can split right open. Next up, villain number 2, hard water damage. This one's an inside job. The local water is just packed with minerals like calcium and magnesium. You can't see them, but over time, they build up inside your pipes, kind of like cholesterol in an artery. This nasty buildup chokes the flow, gives you low water pressure, and makes your appliances work way, way harder until they just burn out. And our final villain is a real ticking time bomb, those old galvanized pipes. If your home was built before the 1970s, there's a good chance you've got these. See, the protective coating on the inside just wears away over the decades, and then the pipe starts to rust from the inside out. You might see some rusty water, sure, but a lot of the time the first real sign you get is a sudden leak, or worse, a total collapse. Okay, so we've met the villains. It sounds pretty serious, right? Well, it is. But this is where the pros come in. So let's flip the scripts and break down the anatomy of a real solution to see how a professional actually comes in and tackles these really complex issues. You see, a good plumber knows that not all problems are created equal. Their work pretty much falls into 3 main buckets. First, you've got your emergency repairs. That's when the main goal is just stop the bleeding, get the water back on. Then you've got planned installation projects, which are all about upgrading your home. And finally, and this is so important, you have preventative maintenance, the scheduled stuff that catches small issues before they blow up into huge, expensive disasters. Now, the actual process itself, it's all about clarity and communication. It's not just about banging on pipes. It starts with your call, which gets assessed for urgency. Then comes the most important part, a clear diagnosis and an upfront price that you approve before they touch anything, no surprises. Finally, the job gets done, everything's tested, and they clean up after themselves. It's a process designed to keep you in the loop from start to finish. And this quote right here, this really hits the nail on the head. This is what professional service should be all about. It's not just about the what, it's about the why. A true pro takes the time to educate you. They make sure you understand what caused the problem in the first place and the thinking behind the permanent fix, which lets you make the absolute best decision for your home. So at the end of the day, understanding all of this is what empowers you as a homeowner.
So let's wrap this up with some key knowledge you can actually use to protect what's probably your single biggest investment.
When you do have to make that call, how do you spot a real pro? Well, here's your checklist. Are they licensed? Super important. Do they give you pricing in writing up front? Do they stand behind their work with a guarantee? These are not just nice little perks, they are essential signs of a legitimate, trustworthy professional who knows the local codes and actually respects your home.
And what about the cost? Yeah, that can seem like a total mystery sometimes, but it really boils down to a few key things. The biggest piece of the pie is almost always the labor time. Then, the quality of the materials you pick makes a big difference. And notice this, how urgent it is, those emergency calls, that directly affects the price too, along with any permit fees. Understanding this really helps demystify that final bill. So, after all of this, we're right back where we started. From that subtle gurgle in the toilet to the shock of a crazy high water bill, your home is constantly sending you messages, talking to you about its health. The only question left is, are you listening?